Welcome, everyone. This is F5 Recovery Radio. This is One Pretty Ricky. I'm joined with Kirsten Huovinen and Adam Martin. Adam is out of town with us, but he's joining virtually, which is super slick. So thanks, everybody, for being here. We are on KRFF 95.9 LPFM, Moorhead, Fargo. I like that they put Moorhead, Fargo instead of like Fargo, Moorhead.
Just to change it up.
Yeah, just to be different. Yeah.
You're already different enough.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so how's everybody's Easter weekend? We'll kick it off a little fun, check in before we get into our topics.
We had a blast. I had probably 20-ish people at my house, and it was my closest friends and family, and we had a blast. I had did a scavenger hunt for our kids and nieces and nephew, and had a great time. And then last Thursday, I got to go to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I surprised Matt with tickets, thanks to a friend of mine who had to get rid of his, which worked out lovely for me. And it was an amazing concert. They always put on such a good show. But they did look older than before. I'm just glad I am not older. And they never play Under the Bridge. Is that like a thing? They never do at any concert. Why is that?
I think this was the second time I think I've seen them. Yeah, and I don't know.
Is it like a contract they signed to not play it or something?
They were like, no Under the Bridge.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Easter was good. It was kind of I wouldn't call it a solo Easter, but it was more of a kind of single Easter, if you will. Jelsa had the flu, so it was just me and the baby and my in-laws, and it was like a really good time. Like we got up early for like a kind of like sunrise service, and then we had a pancake breakfast, and then we kind of just hung out at the house for a couple hours before going up to Hillsboro. So shout out my grandma hosting us, and it's fun. Like it's always just a really good time. It's really awesome now having a great relationship with them, and just after everything, just repairing and just really just kind of just loving on them, and then just great? Seeing how they love on Ricky is one of the coolest, and like it just like I know he knows he's loved, but it's just awesome to see just how loved he is from other people. So yeah, it was good.
Oh, I love it. Yeah all the people at my house were in recovery or family of us, so it was just really cool. It's just some days I just sat there for a second and thought how grateful I was that like my husband and I remodeled this house so that we could have this house where everybody comes to just be, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's here. We're just here, and everybody's here, and they just show up and they bring people, and I love it. Yeah. Anyway, it was just really perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Adam? What'd you do for Easter? What you got going on?
I spent it with family, immediate family. So we had the kids over. My oldest son Nick came over, and then my brother. Brecken couldn't. He has he was over at his grandma's, and then so it was it was fun or whatever. Like it was the first time that we had done an Easter like just with brothers and sisters and kids or whatever. So usually we go to my my uncles or my grandmas in the past or whatever. So I made flank steaks and then ham with or Chrissy made ham with like the pineapple stuff on there for the kids, and so it was good. It turned out really well, and I think we had fun. So
that's awesome.
That's all good except for the pineapple on ham thing. That's bizarre.
It's actually pretty good.
So you not do pineapple on pizza either?
Oh, God, no. Fruit is not made for pizza. Not unless there's frosting instead of marinara sauce.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the, we had pineapple pizza at the Ridge the other night, and people were, like, eating it, and I was just like, I was like, well, what's next? Like oranges and strawberries and stuff? Like, what's with kids these days? I mean, but this has always been a thing. Like, people have enjoyed pineapple pizza
since pineapple in pizza.
Yeah, whoever had in mind.
Somebody had a Commod cheese budget and just had a can of pineapple and some pepperoni and put it together. That's a trailer park meal right there. that just took hold.
No, don't put that burden on us. We would do something crazy like ramen on pizza or something like that, but not.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Pork and beans and ramen.
Oh my God! No.
Ain't nobody buying pineapples in the.
All right, true. Well, you got them in cans. You got canned.
Yeah, canned pineapples.
Even that was a delicacy. Yeah. You'd put it in frog eye dessert. Anyway, with Cool Whip, whatever. Anyway, what are we doing today, Ricky?
Man, so today we are doing. We're talking about I love myself. So I kind of wanted to have like a fun topic, just doing something different. We always like tackle like the really tough issues and all the different management, anger management, stress management, time, all these other different things. But I was like, like sometimes the sun's out, we just really need some like more like positivity and just other things. So, so today's topic is just all about self-love. And so, so I'm just really excited to like make Adam uncomfortable talking about how much he loves himself. So, that's really the whole purpose of this show is like, how can I make Adam uncomfortable?
Well, I got some ideas.
So that's kind of today's topic. And again, so as we are on Facebook Live and those who are listening on the radio, eventually we'll be able to open it up and kind of just share. But for today, we just wanted to kind of just share a little bit more and just talk about from a personal perspective. So what are some things, kind of the first really softball question, easy question is what is some of the things that like you love about yourself now that you're in recovery?
Oh, like a list?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. See, when you said like this was going to be an easy topic, like I would rather talk about people I dislike and probably punching someone else than talk about how much I love myself. I think that there was one time when I was dating Matt, I met with this girl who was like, I respected her in AA. I thought she knew a lot of stuff, and she told me that if I don't, because I was complaining about, I'm sure, like how I looked or something like that, and
Sure.
she was like, well, if you can't love yourself, nobody will love you. And I just thought, that's awful because I'm never going to get there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still not there. There's just like, I don't think there's a time where it says like, until you love yourself completely, are you able to love somebody else? That's just not a true statement, at least not in my life or anyone I've ever met.
Right.
But I think the things I love about myself have changed over time, and maybe it's just with age or caring less or just self-confidence and knowing that like I've made it through hard times before. I will make it through hard times again.
Sure.
I am enough. I fail at some things, and the people that I've seen as like perfect throughout life, are boring. And I just like, I love a hot mess. I love when people are just real and authentic, and I think in helping other people through their recovery and loving them unconditionally, you start to kind of learn to love yourself and your shortcomings. Like I am not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at some things. I'm good at making situations awkward. I'm good at inappropriate jokes. And, there's a lot of things I do well, but there's a lot of things that aren't my strong suit. And I think now instead of acting like they are, I can just say like, it's not my bag. Ricky's organized. He does that. You know what I mean? So anyway, there's so many things to it, but I don't think that I'm ever going to get to a place where I love myself completely, because I'm my own worst critic for sure. I have to be talked into doing stuff like, you're good enough. Yeah, whatever,
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What about for you, Adam? What are some things that you love about yourself now that you're in recovery?
Oh my God. I always feel weird talking about things I love about myself because people, I'm like out there and I have a hard time like not sucking the air out of the room whenever I walk into a room. So it's just like, when people are like, oh, he's got a big ego, or he's, even some people who don't like me are like, oh, he's so narcissistic.
That's awful.
So I've always really struggled with talking about like publicly what I love about myself, because people just feel like, God, okay,
Well, that's the nice thing. We're on the radio, so now no one can respond.
Nobody.
So
yeah, I got the mic. It was the same reason I liked doing stand-up comedy, because you could heckle all you want, but I'm the one with the microphone, so it's just like you're gonna lose. So I think what I love about myself the most is that I'm just like, I really, I'm not really scared to like take risks or whatever. And I think a part of it is because of like my worldview that has been given to me since I've been gotten recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really narrowed down the world for me getting sober, right? Because before it was like there was so much chaos going on in my head about religion, politics, things that are going on in different. We got a loop. Is there a loop happening? Do you hear it? No. Okay. And what it did was like narrow down what's in front of me, like the task at hand. Like I don't have to worry about anything, and we're all gonna die one day anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it was like, in some scenarios, people would be like, they're like getting really morbid about that we're going to die one day. And for me, it was like freedom, like that nothing that we do here is really ever, is really just really small on the grand scheme of things. So like anything that I do, whether it's start a business or take a risk with, someone in my life or whatever, like it matters to the moment more than it matters to the grand scheme of things, And so that's probably what I love about myself the most, is that my worldview just shifted after I got sober, and nothing was really that serious as I thought it was.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah,
I
it
like
really
that.
is.
Yeah.
Pretty deep for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're all going to die. All right,
I know. I must be your guys' biggest fans, though. I absolutely adore you guys. I think that you look like you have all of your stuff together all the time. And I just think you're super knowledgeable. That's the last nice thing I'm going to say to either of you for a very long time. So put it in your diary.
Yeah. I think one thing that like I'm really thankful for, or just really love about myself now that I'm in recovery, is just my self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like to not know, because my process always, like I was just so dependent on, and as situations would happen, or as people would happen, or as whatever, right? Whatever the situation was, I would always like, okay, I know how I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to go gamble. I'm going to go, like that was always like, but it was great because it was easy, because that was always the response, because I never would process through. I don't like conflict.
Yeah.
So instead of like, hey, I don't like that you said this about me, or I don't like that you're doing this to this person, or whatever the problem was that it just made me uncomfortable. Instead of just saying, hey, Kirsten, I didn't like that, or hey, this is how I'm feeling about that, or hey, I did like that, it was positive or negative. I would just, I would punish you, or I would be like, hey, this will show them, and then go gamble. And then I would spend a bunch of money, and then sometimes I would win, sometimes I would lose, and then I would feel even worse. And then the problem wasn't resolved because you have no idea how I'm feeling. So then this inevitably, I would see you again, or whatever the situation was, like I would remember the situation, or if that same thing that just irked me would happen again. And then a second time I would be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to Dempsey's, and then you play some blackjack and then lose, and then just be like, oh man, now I have no money, and I'm upset at myself, and things aren't better.
Yeah.
And then it would be third time, fourth time. And like sometimes it'd be like, it would have to happen 6 times before I would finally be like, hey, you know what? I don't like this. And then you're like, oh my God, like, dude, chill out. Like, it's fine. But then I would just blow up because I'm angry at a lot of different things now that I should have just taken care of in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So whereas now, like in recovery, like I'm so more aware when I'm triggered. One, I'm not like responding to I'm not responding to my negative emotions by just going out to gamble to just fix it. But I'm also like, hey, you know what? This is how I'm feeling. This is, whatever. And like talking it through and knowing that, hey, you know what? I need to talk this through, but I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
And so like, especially at home, me and Jelsa would be like, you know what? Like I need a moment, or I need 5 minutes, or I need like, you know what? I don't want to talk about this right now. And then just kind of like ending things and then working through it, processing, and then be like, okay, can we talk? And it has helped obviously, one, I have more money in my pocket, which is really, really nice. And then two, like I've actually have tackled, whatever this situation was with this person or this, this situation. And it's like, I didn't have that before.
Yeah.
And when I did, I did it really, really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it hard when you have unhealthy coping skills. I have many. I avoid conflict at all costs also. I'm just like, oh, sounds like it's getting difficult in here. Bye. Is that weird? I throw in a 14-year-old inappropriate joke and that's one thing I like about myself. I'm becoming more and more like a 14-year-old boy, and I think that those things are funny, and I don't really mind that other people don't. But I think in having those unhealthy reactions to things, like you learn like this isn't working for me. I can't gamble at somebody and make it better. Or in recovery, like I can't be pouting all the time and just assume that somebody's going to think, oh, she's got it hard, let's change it for her. That's not going to happen for me. I have to be able to say what I want, and that doesn't mean that I get what I want all the time, but I feel fine in saying it. And if somebody disagrees, I feel fine with that too. But it's empowering to say what you need. And I don't do that all the time, of course. I'd still rather just tell my husband and be like, I'm so mad, I'm going to tell Matt, and then he's going to tell you something. But it's about like self-care and having healthy boundaries. And I think then you learn to slowly start to love yourself, but you got to show up. You're not going to think your way into better living. Just like anything with recovery, you're not going to think your way into sobriety. You got to show up and be a part of the group and let people laugh at you and with you and heal those old ways of dealing with things, and know that like you're good enough just the way you are. And I've always said that the people in recovery have loved me until I could love myself, and that's true. That's done it for me over and over again. Like there was a time in recovery when I just quit going to meetings because I just didn't want to, and then I became so full of fear. But people would just show up and be like, we're having coffee. And I'd think, God, why? Why do you just show up here? But they saved me, and it saved me to have them show up and just hang around me until I could figure out how to get back to what would help me the most. And I think that if I live my life based on fear. Like I'm fear motivated, and I don't want to live like that. I don't want that to be the case. I was afraid to go on this band trip to chaperone for my kids' high school band trip, and I thought, I am not cut out to do this. Like high school kids scare the hell out of me. I would rather work with felons all the time than have to sit with high school kids. But anyway, it ended up being amazing. I made some amazing girlfriends, and they share my sense of humor. One of them brought a towel rack home from Jamaica for me, and it's a towel rack of a man, and he holds the towel with his thing. And it was just like hilarious to me. So I put it up in my bathroom, and my mom's appalled, and that makes me even happier. My kids' friends come out of that bathroom, and they're like, Charlie, do you know what's in there? Because I have my own collection of things. Yeah. Anyway.
Which, again, we had the privilege about a month or two ago getting invited to your house. And it was like, it's like, some houses are more warmer than others. But, like, I liked just so much of your home is, like, so expression. Like, there's so many different expressions of different things. And going in that bathroom was like, oh, okay. Like, had I not known you, then I'd be like, okay, like this is a very, very like we're aware, like
eclectic.
Yeah. But it was cool because I was like, yeah, like I appreciate. I think one thing that I will share, and I will share many things that I appreciate about Kirsten because I'm that guy. But like I appreciate that like everything you do is always authentic, but like you do it in all the ways. Like you do it in your decorating, and you do it in like the. I had taken like one of my little peckermints.
Yeah.
I was like, this was so great. Like just all you're just authentically you in everything you do and everything you put your hands to. And so it's just cool to see it even in that way.
Yeah.
And just decorating and like, and who knows? I didn't poll Matt or the kids.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how do you feel about your mom, being who she is, but I'm sure obviously they're just like, yeah, that's my mom. Kids
are probably like, I have another choice. Is there an alternative? I learned it from Adam.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
can't say the same stuff.
Yeah, but I think that even for you, Adam, like that's still the same thing. Like, just knowing who you are and just seeing you as a person, just that you're carrying out. I think that's one of the awesome things even about this show, is that like when you're sharing things that you guys are going through, or sharing the positivity or the things that you struggle with or whatever, that it's not just like, oh, I'm saying this because I'm on the radio and people are listening. I should just say what feels good, or like, oh yeah, you need to do this, or it's like, no, like I messed up. Or no, I did really well. And that's in everything. And I think, for those who don't necessarily know Adam and Kirsten and don't, who just know us from the show, or, maybe you do know us, I hope that comes across, that people are seeing that same thing.
The authenticity,
Yep.
that you give also.
Yeah.
And in every outfit you wear, which
that's true.
Those are pretty amazing. I love them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Adam, you got any nice thing to say to us?
Yeah, we're just sharing compliments, Adam. Anything you want to share?
No, the only thing we got. Well, I absolutely have nothing nice to say about either one of you. So, I appreciate you guys very much. I found like a new. This podcast has just been. I don't think I've done anything on a weekly basis this long, on time.
Ish.
I mean, I go to work. I try to be at work before 8:00 or whatever, after I drop off the kids and stuff. But outside of that, I don't have a thing that I necessarily go to early in the morning every single week or whatever. And I really, really look forward to this and spending time with you guys. So, but from my side or whatever, I don't know if you guys saw the announcement or not. I know Ricky did or whatever, but Jeff became president of F5. F5.
Oh yeah, congrats!
As a whole
That's awesome.
This week, so
yeah.
I'm really, really, really looking. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to just doing the geographical reach and trying to start new things up in other cities and other states and building out a network and stuff. And it's difficult to be able to do, if, obviously if that person has to still deal with day-to-day, issues or whatever. So, I'm really looking forward to Jeff to kind of be the captain and lead the ship and see, how that turns out, which I believe it will be great. So I think, I love myself enough, to, I've had a couple thoughts, just like I've had with relationships, or just like I've had with, my kids, that when my son was seeking recovery, my first thought was I got to be the one to help him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so F5 has always been I got to be the one that's doing everything and whatever. And so I haven't had really any of those thoughts or whatever with it. I really feel comfortable with Jeff doing this, and I think it's going to turn out really great for everybody.
Yeah, that's incredible. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
We'll see. Well, it's I'm still the CEO, so it's not like I'm going anywhere. So I hopefully nobody read and interpreted that as a message that Adam's leaving F5 or anything like that, because I'm not. It's just we got something really special here between the podcast, the operations, the treatment, the jail meetings, the prison speaking engagements, and I just really want to bring that everywhere. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it will be everywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah. So the next question I wanted to talk about, so we talked obviously a lot about, our teams and people that are around us and a lot of that, but so thinking of self-love and what do we enjoy about ourselves, are we comfortable being alone? And if we are, why are we comfortable being alone? And if we're not comfortable being alone, why not?
Well, how alone? I mean, I'm...
by yourself.
The best days are sometimes when my whole family and everybody's out of my house and I'm all by myself. Those are such great moments. to just like sit and be by myself for a while. But if they didn't come back, like if I was just single with no kids and by myself, I would have to find my tribe, I guess. I'd have to find my people. I am good with being alone. I always said I'm an introvert. I have social anxiety, and I use that as my excuse to not go anywhere or do anything. But the truth is I do love people. I have a blast talking to people. I just know when I've had my limit and I need to go home and unwind from that. But to be comfortable in my own skin, that's a hit and miss depending on the day. Some days I feel fat. Some days I feel like my hair's not doing what it's supposed to. Some days I just don't feel confident in my decisions, and I feel like I don't know what I'm doing with parenting or with career choices or with supper even. I feel so overwhelmed by the little things. And I think that that's what gets me the most tripped up, is that lack of confidence in decision making. Because the people I admire make decisions, right or wrong. They decide, and then if it's wrong, they figure it out. And if it's right, then awesome.
Right.
But it's this wishy-washy part that like my mom always says, I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not so sure, And so it's just like, it's that I wish I had more confidence in decision making and sticking to it. But even with parenting, sometimes I'm like, well, like, I don't know, can't remember what Sawyer did, but I was like, well, now what do we do, Sawyer? I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Right.
I'm like not done this parenting thing before. And he was just like, well, I suppose you should take my phone away then. And I should probably not play video games. And I'm thinking like, I didn't even think of that punishment. He thought of that all on his own. And so maybe just the authenticity of being like, I feel lost right now. And I've just found the more transparent I am with life, the more comfortable I am in my own skin, and the more I help other people through their tough times, the more I find that it's okay to not know what you're doing. But anyway, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does. What about for you, Adam? Are you comfortable being alone by yourself?
Oh my God! Why we gotta talk about this deep crap all the time?
This was like you always appear comfortable
we get super
though.
into this like. Let's make a podcast about Adam's complete character defects of character, or whatever. And,
I am keeping a list.
Yeah.
But you appear put together all the time. You appear like when you decide something, Adam, it's decided. And that it really is like, it's really, I admire that a lot.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the nice compliment before we go really deep about why Adam has fears of being alone. I do. I definitely have. It's not really immediate fear of being alone. Whether it's F5 or family or, it comes in bad. I'm not that good of. Not a lot of people probably know this, whatever. I am not that good as a long-term mentor or sponsor or, really in anything, because I prioritize the way I support others based on the level of need, that they have or whatever. So if somebody's doing good and stabilized, mentally I'm, looking at the people in my life that need the most help. And I try to just be like on that ground level of being, helpful to those who need the most. So like I get really, the thing that I'm working on when it comes to stuff like this is that like when people don't, this is deep. Okay. So when people genuinely want to just be around me and don't need support from me, I find my value go down. Right. And so I really struggle with not just I don't know how to put it, like I find value in labor, right, and doing things for other people and like trying to help them level up or achieve the things that they want in their life. Not value in the way of like they're doing it because of me, but that's just like my work, like that's my heart. That's my passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when they get to a point where they're stabilized and they don't need as much, and then someone else comes across and they need that, I'm really good at that, and I find a lot of value in it. So then a lot of times long-term relationships aren't probably as robust as they could be, or what people are looking for in that long term. And so then it usually turns into bitterness or resentment because I spent so much time with them early on, and then I moved on to the next person, if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. And so all the guys that I either mentor or sponsor are all under 6 months of their new life, and and there's quite a few guys that are past that time or whatever that I don't really talk to much anymore or whatever. And, I think if there was better communication on it, it's like, I don't find myself, beneficial past a certain time. Mm-hmm. And like, my mind just can't comprehend not helping someone who needs the most help. Like, I don't get it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, why somebody would want to, maybe it's trauma, maybe it's whatever, but like, why someone would want to spend time with me beyond except if they're stabilized. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hard and very deep, like, internal search of why I don't do long-term, mentorship, but I'm really good at short-term, and I'm really good at activating, and then beyond that I suck. So.
Right. Well, I think that's helpful to recognize, knowing that's what you can do. So then making sure you set that expectation right away to say, hey, I will give you my all for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is. And then after that, then, kind of done. Like I'll give you everything that you need to get you through this next period. And then, okay, now someone needs to take over that season. And I think setting that expectation helps. Yeah. To be able to
being transparent
about it. So I don't think there's anything about sucking. Like, I don't think it's not like, it's just, that's what it's for. That's what you will do. You will give the best effort for that period of time, and that's it. Like that. And that's enough. Like, it doesn't need to be more than that, because if someone's looking for more than that, then they shouldn't go to you.
Yeah. Well,
and you'll introduce them to somebody.
Do that with leave them. Yeah. I can only do that with mentorship. I wouldn't be like, all right, so we're going to be in a relationship for the next 6 months. Well, after it's a new season. I need you to find another guy.
Yeah, I was just talking about mentorship, but that's a great point there, Adam.
I was talking about all of the above. Just I'm,
should we really unpack that one?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yep, I know, and that's why I was like, I'm going to leave that one alone, and I'll just shift it over here. Yeah, well, and I think something that this has probably happened in the past 3 weeks that not very many, haven't really shared much. I kind of had just a really hard battle with depression. Mm-hmm. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it was just different because it wasn't like anything that I've experienced before. Because I wasn't triggered. Like, it wasn't like when I wanted to go gamble. This was just something different. It was something really, really weird. And then I was trying all the things that I normally do to help overcome my gambling addiction, but those things weren't working. Mm-hmm. I was going to meetings, that wasn't, it was helping, but not the way I needed it to. Doing my self-care, doing all the things, and it just, nothing was connecting. It was I'm here, this is the action I want to make, but somehow I would just freeze at this point and never make it that far. And so I started to recognize that, when I really started talking to Jess about it, because I was like, okay, I can figure this out. Right? I know me. I'm self-aware. I realized at the beginning of the show, I said I'm really great at self-awareness, but sometimes I don't always, do what I know I should be doing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just isolate. I'm just going to I just really need to do some internal searching, some soul searching, some meditation, And those are never, I've even long before recovery and long before I even got in my addiction, I never wanted to be by myself. I'm not comfortable by myself. So the fact that I was I need to be by myself, I need to be alone was I mean, there's a lot of signs, but that was definitely one of the biggest ones. And then that's when I knew, like, okay, why am I specifically starting fights to just push Chelsea away? Why am I specifically, trying to make sure, like, getting Ricky to daycare, like, keeping the dog outside, like, just truly, like, wanting nothing. And I was like, okay, no. Something's really, really wrong. And at that point, so then recognizing, like, okay, this isn't normal. This isn't what I've dealt with before. And thankfully, after having a conversation with her, she was like, yeah, you've been off. I was like, well, yeah, I know I've been off, but I just didn't quite pinpoint exactly what it was. And so thankfully, after a couple of different conversations with a few people, got to a therapist and really started to unpack some different things that just were out of nowhere. And obviously I'm feeling, it's been about a week now, so I'm feeling obviously a lot better since then. But it was just one of those things where I'm like, no, I'm not, I used to be comfortable being alone because I know I would need that. I needed the time to recharge, but it was different from being alone. Like that type of alone was just different. Like it was like isolation. Like I was just craving, like I need to be isolated. I need to like, just do all these things. And it was scary. It is scary. It's really, and I don't know. Like it was just, I've never experienced anything like that before. At least I've had some bouts and things of depression before, but not in this way.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really scary to just kind of have it just come like out of nowhere. And it was just really a wild couple of weeks, which, again, thankfully things are okay and getting the help I needed. But it was just one of those things where I was like, man, like when you're trying everything that used to work, that's not working. Yeah. It was just, it was really, really well. And then I was like, well, what do I do? Yeah. Like all of a sudden, like the isolation just like went to hopelessness. And I was like, oh, can't get there because I know what that leads to. So, yeah.
It's true, though. That's so dark. It can be so dark. I think that when you get sober, your mental health doesn't just like, oh, now I'm Pollyanna and everything is amazing. Right. It just doesn't work like that. I think that, at least in my experience, I've watched a lot of people leave recovery around, I don't know, 12 to 16 years, something like that. They just kind of don't come back. And I thought, that'll never be me. I'm in the middle, whatever. But mental health is a huge thing, and I wasn't taking care of mine. And at 16 years sober or whatever, I found myself suicidal, which is like I think finally I can say it without getting choked up. So thanks for the deep convo, Ricky. This is great. But it was just so scary. Like you said, it was so dark and so scary. And I'm so grateful for that time, though, because out of the darkest days come my best experience in life that I could use to help other people. And it's made me much stronger and much more confident, because I think that there's like this, I don't know, maybe I experienced like a spiritual bottom or something where it was just like who cares anymore what anybody thinks? I want to live. I want to be a mom. If somebody's offended by my inappropriate humor, that is fine. Go somewhere else. I have, you know what I mean? There's just so many other people in the world to be with, and like for the people in your life, be their biggest fan. They already know what they're screwing up. I already know what I'm messing up. I don't need like, oh, did you know you did this wrong? I don't need that. I just need somebody like my husband's blindly my biggest fan, which is awesome, because whatever I do, he's just like, yay, you're just the best. And so that I like a lot, and hopefully I can be that for him too. But I think that we're our worst critics. I don't need anybody. I don't need to be reminded of all my shortcomings, because I know they're there. I'm well aware. But the people that back me up and like the girlfriends I call and say, do you know what Matt did? And they're like, oh, I hate him. And then the next day when I'm like, oh, he's perfect, and they're like, okay, we love him now. You know what I mean? Just like be the ride or die. You know what I mean? But yeah, the dark times in recovery, like it doesn't mean that you don't need. There's mental health therapists for a reason. There's medications for a reason. There's all of those things, like care for yourself holistically in the big picture. But you got to have your tribe, Anyway. Yeah. I think we forgot our drum solo or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Our commercial.
Our commercial.
You have it memorized now, Adam? You could just say the commercial.
Yeah. Guitar stuff.
We're open most of the time.
Let's see, which one are we
Except for Sundays, because Adam's sleeping.
Well, this time they actually we have a new underwriter. So the music on 95.9 KRFF LPA Radio Fargo is being underwritten by Orange Records this time.
Ooh.
So Orange Records offers a variety of new and used music on vinyl and CD, as well as large selection of posters, DVDs, and much more. Orange Records buys used vinyl, CDs, and cassettes. They're located at 641 First Avenue North, right here in downtown Fargo. And they're open noon to 6:30, Monday through Saturday. And, of course, because they know Adam are sleeping, they are, too, still closed on Sundays.
Good.
So you can search Orange Records Fargo on Facebook for updates on new arrivals and special events.
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana? Oh. Anyway.
That's awesome.
And I think that one more thing I was thinking about with like this self-love thing is like my mother-in-law has a sign in her house that says forgive everyone everything. I absolutely believe in that wholeheartedly. I think once you can forgive other people for all their shortcomings, you can forgive yourself for, like we did some shady stuff. And so to make peace with your past and make amends and do your step work and make that stuff right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if Winnie the Pooh can run around in a crop top with no pants, eating honey all day and love it himself, so can I.
Love yourself or walking around with a crop top and no pants?
Either. What do you do? That's what my husband does.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we have...
Hey, guys, I'm going to... I got a meeting with the Bush Foundation here in Minot or whatever, so it's at 9:00. So I'm gonna jump. Ricky, I think that today this is probably the best that we've done with using Shindig and Facebook Live and all that stuff, or whatever. I think it's turned out the best, or whatever. So I think this is the way.
Okay.
Like the Mandalorian, but anyways, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. This is like my little, check-in. You guys are like my therapist or whatever. So, my weekly, I can't think of any better way than to do therapy in front of thousands of people. But
you're generous.
Thank you for being you. So I'm gonna jet to this meeting. So
okay.
Good luck.
Thank you, Adam. Good luck. Appreciate you.
Talk soon.
Sounds good.
Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Yes.
My mom says.
Oh.
I'm
a hoof. Love that. So now that Adam jumped off, but our final question with our remaining time. So this was kind of a fun one. I always want to like have a little fun like question that we can do because we got like really deep, which I appreciate you guys getting deep with me.
Mm-hmm.
But fun compliment or fun like kind of like final question that we'll kind of close it out with. What is the best compliment you've ever given, and what's the best compliment you've ever received?
Well, you start.
I think the best compliment I've ever given, let's see. Yeah, I think the best compliment I've ever given was I had really appreciated, there was a keynote speaker that was at this like church conference that my dad took me to in Dallas. Shout out TD Jakes. And this was very, very, very many years ago. But like the best compliment ever given, like his attention to detail, literally from head to toe in his outfit, was like one of the it went so far as like his detail on like the thread in his buttons exactly matched like the monochromatic look he had down. Yeah. Like it was like he even somehow took I don't know, maybe took the buttons off, maybe it was bought like that, I don't know, but like even to the thread in the buttons was like so pristinely matched. And I remember like walking up to him, like I was in a long line, of course, because everyone's trying to talk and get signatures, and I don't know, it was high school, so like probably 14 or 15, which I wonder if that's maybe why I dressed up. I don't know. But anyways, this is now self-reflecting. But I remember just like being in this line, like, yeah, Dad, I really want to be in this line. I want to like talk to this guy. And I remember just telling him, I was like, I just appreciate just how, and like this was when I was like trying to be like really cool, like big words. Like, I just appreciate your sartorial stencil style. And he just like looked at me. He just smiled and he was like, thank you. And I was like, I knew what I was trying to say, and I was trying to be cool, but like I wasn't really cool, and like he knew that he was like, okay, like I know what you're trying to do here, kid, but like he just rolled with it like so well, and I was like, and it just like made me feel so like yeah, like I crushed it, like crushed this compliment, and I was just like super happy that I like I see you, sir, I see what you did there, and like it was just such a cool thing.
What's a sartorial?
So it's like someone who's like very like well dressed and put together.
No wonder I've never heard it. Okay.
And then I think on the best compliment I've ever given or ever received, it's kind of I don't want to say it's common. Like it's one of my favorite compliments. I just love when people like compliment my smile.
Oh, you do have a great smile.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I was fishing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things, like a smile is such a significant portion of like your, before you say anything, like people like if you're frowning, people like, okay, it's going to be that kind of interaction.
Face just does that
sometimes. But like I was all like, I try to just be very happy and very joyous, like as much as I can. And so, I'm always smiling. And so it's just cool, like, when someone's recognizing that. It's like, yeah, you have a really great smile. I was like, well, that's good, because I'm smiling all the time. So, like, if I had a terrible smile, regardless, whatever, then that would suck, because I'm giving it away all the time.
Yeah. For free.
Yeah, I'm giving this away literally all the time. So
you're super approachable. That's a great thing.
Thank you.
I've not gotten that all the time. Yeah. My husband, for sure. But okay, so the best compliment I've ever given, I don't know. I try and give compliments whenever I can. I think that's a huge thing, that people should hear good things about themselves. I think the ones that are the most rewarding are the ones where it's like kids. Any positive reinforcement with kids, they just eat it up. Mm-hmm. If you're just like, oh my gosh, you have the best manners, then they will please and thank you me all day long. You know what I mean? Or just to watch their face light up like, you saw me? I did that right and you saw me. Anyway, that's pretty cool. But just to remind people of like all the good qualities they have also. And I think the best compliment I've ever received, well, I'm going to give you the PC one and then I'll give you the real one. Okay. All right. The compliments that are the greatest are when someone tells my parents that like I'm doing great or I help them, because then they're just beaming, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh my gosh, I'll pay you later. But yeah, that's just great. But yeah, anytime like someone that was a client of mine from before stops me and says that their life's better, it's not a compliment to me. They did all the work. But it just makes me just giddy. I just think that it's so great. And then selfishly, I have body image issues, you know what I mean, all these things through life. So one of the best compliments I ever got, and I think that maybe women with addiction have a little bit of a warped sense of compliments, maybe. But anyway, I was walking with Sarah in Vegas, and we were walking down, I don't even know, Fremont Street. Is that a street there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we were walking down that street, just past the Naked Cowboy or whatever.
Yeah.
And anyway, this guy stops me and he goes, hey, I would let you sit on my face. And I was like, oh my God, I've never been what a sweetheart. He just didn't even have to say that. It was so sweet. Anyway, so I just said, thank you so much. And I went back to my hotel and Sarah told Matt, and Matt was appalled. He was just like, are you insane? Like, well, maybe. Anyway, I thought it was beautiful. Anyway, so that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this show. I love everything about this. This is so great. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This is F5 Recovery Radio here on KRFF 95.9 LPFM. This is One Pretty Ricky with my co-hosts Kirsten Huovinen and Adam Martin. We'll be back same time next week, 8 a.m. Central Time, to talk about good and bad words. So I'm really looking forward to next week. So we'll have to be careful because we're on the radio. So I know those listening, we promise we'll keep all the good and bad words.
Yeah.
Good.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So thank you again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.